Well, hello and welcome once again to the Waters and Stanton video channel. My name is Peter Waters and my call sign is Golf 3 Oscar Juliet Victor. I was planning to do a short video on battery operation for portable work. The way I operate, it may not be the way that you operate, but I thought it would be interesting to let you know how I operate portable with batteries, and it might give you some ideas. And I was taking advantage really of probably one of the last weekends in summer before we head to autumn. I'm not sure, perhaps we are in autumn now, I don't know. Anyway, if we're not, we're about to be. And at my door arrived a parcel, and it was the FTX Optima. This of course is just the front head, and the front head unit acts as a low power transceiver, and I thought, gosh, that will give me a chance to see how well it works. But the one thing that happened was that I thought, after about 2 hours of operation, I thought, wait a minute, this is going to change the way I use batteries, the way I use DC power when I'm out portable. In fact, my whole method for operation. I'll explain that a bit later in the video, but first of all, let me show you the batteries, or the way I operate portable currently, and it may give you some ideas, it may not. But there we are. Follow me through. Now, over the sort of couple of years or so, I've done quite a lot of portable operation. I've used the Yaesu FTX-1 I've used the Yaesu FTX-2, I've used the Yaesu FTX-1 I've used the IC705. Now, all these transceivers will give about 5 watts out with their internal batteries. But if you want to have a bit more power, then you need to have an external supply. And I've tried various options, and it's these options I really want to cover. And I'm sure that you've got your own ideas. You may disagree with what I've been doing, but anyway, I'll tell you what I've been doing, and I'm sure that you'll have some criticism about it, but it suits me, it suits the way I operate, and I've had some enjoyment out of it. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that I think that this FTX-1 field is going to change the way that I work? Yes, I think I did. Anyway, stick around. I spent quite a lot of time exploring the countryside in Suffolk. Sometimes I take my bike out, other times I'll take the camper van out, but I've usually got both the bike and the camper van around so that I can explore the country and choose some suitable spots to operate from. I tend to use the Ampro monoband whip antennas you can see mounted on the rear hatch of the van, and I tend to operate a lot on 20 metres because that band is always, or generally speaking, open, and the antenna is pretty efficient on that frequency. I had fully charged the battery on the FTX-1 field, and this was really my first attempt at using the transceiver on the air. Now, a lesson I've learnt with these type of transceivers is that when you're relying on the internal battery power of the transceiver, you need either a spare battery or means of recharging the existing one, or using an external supply. This was where I was to learn that the FTX-1 field was somewhat different. Anyway, let me show you what I normally use. My long-term battery backup system has been this Jackery portable power supply. I've had it for about 4 years, and I use it to recharge the batteries or give me some 12 volts, 13.8 volts supply in order to run 10 watts. And it's also got a 230 volts AC socket on the front, which I can use to power small items. It won't boil a kettle of water, but it will run TV on AC for a couple of hours. I used it once when we had a power cut, and it's got a couple of USB sockets on there, so you can use it for any device that will charge via USB. Now let me introduce you to Big Bertha. This 1200 watt power supply is quite amazing, and from flat to fully charged on an AC mains only takes 57 minutes, would you believe? And it's got some useful features if you're out portable. This beast has got some real power. If you're out and you feel thirsty, it will boil a kettle. You can make yourself a cup of tea. And if you prefer coffee, then this unit will also power your coffee maker. Great when you're out portable. But of course, it's heavy, so this won't go in your rucksack. Now let me get back to the Yaesu FTX-1 field, where I think it will change the way I operate. And as I said right at the beginning, I've got the Optima version, but I can see myself using the head unit as the FTX-1 field for a lot of portable operation. And let me explain why I'm quite excited about this. Bear in mind that I've only had this for a few days, so I will do a more detailed video, but for the time being, let me just cover this question of why I think it's going to change the way I operate. Now, one of the things that may happen when you're out portable is your anxiety about the battery lasting. It's almost like driving an electric car, isn't it? Anyway, you might have a small portable radio like that, and you're worried about how long the battery's going to last. You've always got your eye on it. Well, when I started using the FTX-1 a few days ago, I charged the battery so it's fully charged, and I was quite amazed. The battery seems to go on and on and on, so much so that I know that if I went out for a day's operation portable, even with extensive use of the transceiver running its 6 watts as it does, I really wouldn't have any anxiety about the battery failing at all. I mean, on the back of this FTX-1, I learned how to get this battery off, there we are. On the back of this FTX-1 is this ginormous battery, which is, I think, it's about 6.5 amp hours. I mean, it's going to give you a tremendous amount of operational life hours. And I think that having something like that really is a useful feature. It means to say that you haven't got to take any other equipment with you. Like, I always have to have one of those batteries with me in case I run out of power. Well, I don't need that now. I need a battery to make a cup of coffee, of course. But no, in serious terms, I can just take this FTX-1 out with me, knowing that I'm not going to run out of battery power. And that's a great feature. Now, another feature I like of the FTX-1 is that you can charge it via a USB cable, USB-C connector. And that's great because that's becoming the standard battery charging system now on all these devices, USB-C. So if you're out somewhere and you left your battery lead behind, almost certainly somebody around is going to have a USB-C charging lead. But it does make it very easy to charge the transceiver now from a USB-C lead. It also will charge, of course, with an external power supply. There's a socket on the back there, where you can see that, but anyway, there's a 12 volt DC socket, and that will give you 10 watts out, of course, but it will also charge the transceiver. Now, I haven't had much time to explore all the various features of this new transceiver, but one of the things that I thought about was that if you are stuck for space, as many of us are now, I mean, we're thinking of downsizing at some point, and everything has to be made smaller. And I thought, wait a minute, with this Optima, you could actually have a very, very compact station, because the only thing that needs to be on display is the head unit. That's all you need, just the head unit. Therefore, you could actually have a station that covers 160 metres to 70 centimetres, 100 watts out on the HF bands up to 6 metres, and 50 watts on the other bands, all from one very small unit sitting on the desk. The power supply could be hidden away. And if you get the extension lead, which I'll just show you on the screen now, if you get the extension lead, then you can have not a remote system, but you can have a system whereby the main amplifier is also hidden away with the power supply, and all you've got on show is this little unit there. And here's the connecting cable going back to the Optima amplifier, which of course has also got an internal antenna matching unit. I've kept the battery on the control head because it seems that the Optima charges the battery. This is the desk where I do all my video editing, but now I can place this transceiver on the desk here. And bear in mind that this transceiver is covering all the HF bands plus 2 meters and 70 sems, and will give me up to 100 watts on the HF bands and 50 watts on the VHF bands. So how's this going to change my method of operating? Well, first of all, I've got a base station transceiver that covers all of the HF bands, including 4 meters and 6 meters. It also covers 2 meters and 70 sems. I get 100 watts on the HF bands, 50 watts on the VHF bands. No, that's not unique, of course, but it is something which is very useful. I also get a control head which I can unplug and will give me 6 watts with its built-in or attached battery. And I know jolly well that battery is going to last for ages. I don't have to take any extra chargers or any extra batteries with me. That battery will give me 6 watts for almost as long as I care to talk or sit on the air sending CW. So that's good, isn't it? It also means that the battery will charge when it's connected back to the Optima, but perhaps what is really nice in terms of base station transceiver is I've got a transceiver that is almost invisible apart from the control head. All I've got is a control head which will sit on a desk or in any given space really, tucked away. It's not invisible, but it's almost invisible. And I can still run 100 watts. I've still got an antenna matching unit. I've still got 2 meters and 70 sems. So it's a very, very nice way of operating ham radio. And I think I shall probably use the head now as my QRP or portable unit. I shall use the transceiver as my base station. And I shall enjoy the fact that I can have the control head on my editing desk where I do all the videos, or I can have it back on the operating desk. And also the amplifier, the 100 amplifier, can be connected, of course, to my linear amplifier, which will give up to 700 watts out. So it's a nice package actually. There we are. Well, I hope I've covered the main topics of installing this transceiver, or at least what it will do in terms of its general concept. What I will now do is to do a more detailed video about how it all operates and the niceties of it, all the different controls and so forth. At least I'll do my best because there's an awful lot to go through. It may run to more than one video actually, but I will come back fairly shortly to the FTX-1 or the Optima and give you my impressions and all the things I found out, what I like and so forth. In the meantime, thank you for your support on this channel. It's much appreciated. And as always, you enjoy ham radio. You take care. See you in the next video. Bye for now.